Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo. We've got football tonight as well in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I really hope they fix the field. If you guys watched the game last year, the field was just getting torn up. It was hard for players to play on defense. Essentially, anything that requires planting your foot, which is like really important in football, So hopefully they got that figured out for this year. But we do have a game outside of the U.S. tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, the Chargers versus the Chiefs. So this should be a solid game. Both teams have like relatively solid defenses. And the Chargers defense looks a little bit different now, but yeah, I there was a higher over under than I was expecting. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but let's talk about last night. So we came close, man. The Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts 1.5 rushing receiving touchdowns. I ended up taking that demon as well because later on they took away the 1.5 combo and then they gave you a demon for 2.5. I took that as well. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, just like we said, ended up cashing this himself, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Barkley ended up getting into the end zone. Will Shipley worked out great as well. We talked about Kenneth Gainwell being out of there, and yeah, he went for 26 and it ended up not being a blowout. So we didn't need the blowout for him to just take over in the fourth quarter. So I thought we got that line pretty low at 11.5. He went for 26. But yeah, Dak went for 34. We took him over 36.5 pass attempts. And I mean, who knows? You can always look back. I was anticipating this game being more of the Cowboys playing from behind, which they were. But, Jalen Carter getting removed before the first snap of the game changed what the Cowboys could do. They could be a little bit more aggressive with their run game. The offensive line looked solid. Javonte Williams looked better than I was expecting. I always give my nephew a hard time because he's got Javonte and he's been kind of a Javonte truther, not as his main running back, but he's just been, he hypes up all of his guys. And I thought Javonte looked decent. And then Jake Ferguson, we took him over 8.5 fantasy score, but he ended up going for just 7.3. So man, really close, couple more attempts from Dak, one more catch from Ferguson would have probably got us the sweep there. But let's talk about today's picks. So yeah, these single game slates are always kind of tricky, especially when we don't have any history this season yet to go off of. But I ended up going with a couple plays I really liked from the optimizer. So we'll break all these down in a minute, but we're going to be going with Noah Gray over 17.5 receiving yards. Najee Harris over 5.5 rush attempts. This one's a little bit scary just because we don't know. The reason I'm confident in taking it is because the issue that he's been dealing with is like an injury that he had on the 4th of July where something happened to his eye. They've been very vague about what actually happened, but he's been missing like training camp and preseason and stuff, but he is going to play tonight. And they talked about, they waited till the last minute to announce that Omarion Hampton was going to be the starter. So, I mean, even Omarion Hampton's rush attempts at 12 seems low in a Greg Roman offense, with Jim Harbaugh. So I think that they'll collectively both beat their rush attempts line, but I think Najee is going to do more than 5.5 rush attempts. And again, the injury may be more of a concern. Maybe he's has like a blindside issue with his eye healing. So something to keep in mind. You don't have to take all the plays I'm taking, but also going to be going with Travis Kelce over 5 receptions. I like that with what's his name out. It's escaping me right now. I'll mention it in a minute, but also going to be going with Patrick Mahomes' longest rush over 9.5. This was on the optimizer and it's super juiced, so we're going to roll with this today. So we'll start with this over under here, 47.5. So yeah, a little bit higher than I was expecting with 2 relatively stout defenses from last year, and only a 3-point spread. So Kansas City is favored by just 3. Again, they're both playing overseas. Again, a lot, not overseas, but out of the United States. So I guess, yeah, somewhat. But a lot of times with these games that are out of the US too, they tend to be a little bit lower scoring. So this is kind of surprising to me, almost at 50 on the game total here. And then let's talk briefly about the weather. Not really a whole lot to worry about, but I like that we can go over that now. But yeah, it's going to be about 61. Nothing too crazy with the wind, 8-mile-an-hour winds going southeast. So and that's consistent. There could be gusts up to 14 miles an hour, but that's not like anything that we need to be concerned about if you're taking like kickers or passing plays and whatnot. So we got solid weather for this game across the way there. Before we start breaking down the plays, if you guys haven't yet, do me a favor, like the video, drop me a comment. Some of you guys asked about Jordy. Jordy's just got a lot that's going on right now. He's pursuing things career-wise, and he doesn't really have time to dive into the videos with me right now. So there's a chance he may be back eventually, but for now I'm just riding solo. I still appreciate the support. It's always fun when Jordy's here, but you guys, some of you were asking about him, so I just wanted to give you a little bit more clarity on. He's just like kind of pursuing like career stuff that is kind of taking up a lot of his time right now, so he doesn't really have time to, and this is like more involved and more time consuming than you guys may realize. It's more work than it especially covering every slate. It's actually a decent amount of work to put in to get these videos out. But so we are running some specials on our Discord. If you want to come join our community, hang out, chat with us while and Jordy's still in the Discord, so he's in there popping in every now and again. But if you guys want to join the Discord, right now up until September 10th, we're running a 90% off special when you use code BACKDOOR. So it makes your first month like $1 something. Was going to do like a free month, but we work through Patreon to manage our subscriptions, and the most they would let us do is 90%. So just use code BACKDOOR over at Patreon when you're signing up. All the information's down below, and you'll get 90% off when you use code BACKDOOR. Also, Underdog is running a special right now. When you use code BACKDOOR, play your first 5 and you get $5 in bonus cash. And they're running all sorts of specials for the beginning of the season as well. I'll show you guys the calendar soon. They've got a calendar of everything they're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, and it's really exciting. And then Chalkboard is running a special. So use code BACKDOOR with Chalkboard, and they're going to give you $20 to play on their platform. You don't have to deposit. You don't have to do anything. Just put in code BACKDOOR and you're going to get $20 just so you could play tonight's game. There's actually, let me tell you guys some of the specials that Chalkboard has right now. Chalkboard was, if you're unfamiliar, they were the first platform that I knew of that was going hard with alt lines. So you can set the lines higher and lower, kind of like what the demons and the goblins are now on Prizepicks. But Chalkboard was the first one doing it, and everyone else kind of started doing it after them. But they've got a special. They've got a special for Justin Herbert, where you can take his passing yards for 154.5. They also have a boost 2x on Isaiah Pacheco rushing for just 48.5 yards. So check out Chalkboard. You have nothing to lose. Use code BACKDOOR and you get $20 for free. So go check that out. Let's start breaking these plays down. All right, so Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if you guys watched last year and the year before, like he actually is a decent scrambler, and there's a lot of times when maybe even on like 3rd and long and stuff, he'll actually just run the ball and get them first downs. He's kind of deceiving with his ability to run the ball, and I think part of it, he's not the fastest quarterback, but he's so good with passing the ball that he's always a threat. So a lot of times you'll see him just be pass faking like while he's running quite a bit, and defenses have to respect that because he's done the weirdest, underhand left-handed passes. Like he can just get the ball out and convert a play. He's still probably, I still think he's the best quarterback in the league. Their style of play has been like play to win. It's been less exciting as it was back in the Tyreek Hill days when it was just insane offense, but their defense is so good that they're just like managing the clock in a lot of these games. But nonetheless, I think 9.5 for him to have at least one rush for 9.5, I felt good about it. And I'll show you guys on the optimizer. This one's pretty juiced. Longest rush over 9.5, 53.97% odds to hit the over, -140. The reason I like this is if you look at these other platforms, they're all favoring it to go over. So you got 9.5 on DraftKings, -120, -135 on BetMGM, Underdog -122. And then I don't even know the name of this platform, but they've got a 7.5 line that is -245. So collectively, Daily Grind gives it a -140 to go over. So it's one of the top plays on the board. And then we can just jump right into Najee Harris next. So Najee Harris, here's his rush attempts right here. 5.5, 54.4% odds to hit the over, -142. You got BetMGM -135, and then that same platform -149. So when I'm seeing a lot of the other platforms and odds makers really heavily juicing something in one direction, I take note, as you guys should. And the nice thing about Prizepicks is it's fixed odds. So that's how this optimizer works, is it looks for discrepancies where, like, if you have a bunch of other platforms that are, some of these, like, that are more sports betting type, they're not going to give you the full, your payout isn't going to be as good. But with fixed odds like Prizepicks has, that's what the optimizer does, is it shows you plays that you're going to get the full credit for. Obviously, if it was at 7.5, they'd probably make that a goblin, but you're getting just a fair value at 9.5 when other platforms are juicing it quite a bit. So let's talk about Najee. Where do I got him here? Let's go back to Outlier. So yeah, this one's kind of tricky. His first time with the Chargers, they did go and get him pretty early though. He's on a 1-year deal. He's getting paid like a decent amount. And then they went and drafted Omarion Hampton, who's going to be the future of that team. But we know that, with Greg Roman's style and Jim Harbaugh, they really feature the run quite a bit, and they're good at it. They know how to scheme up for a solid rushing attack. And I think that's why they went and got Najee, because they just want like a power back. And he's typically stayed healthy throughout most of his career, which is nice. Doesn't really miss games. And I think that, I don't know what the deal is. Obviously, I'm a little concerned about the eye thing. But I think that he can have at least 6 rush attempts in this game playing for Jim Harbaugh. If you see, he's never gone under 6 in his last 10 games. Again, I know, different situation. Let's look back at 2024. Yeah, all of 2024, even in games where he wasn't really doing that much, he still had at least 6. But typically this guy's used to high volume. And even with the excitement about Omarion Hampton and the injury to Najee Harris, I still think 5.5 is just too low, because Najee is the vet that I think that they want to be able to rely on while they're, developing their rookie, who they're so excited about, who I think is going to be great, by the way. Like I said earlier at the top of the video, I think that the Omarion Hampton line at 12 looks pretty solid too. And that's on the optimizer as well. So this is Outlier. I love this app. I've talked about it before, but if you guys want to try this out, you can get a week free. You don't have to put in a code or anything. Just sign up below through the Outlier link, and they're going to let you use this for a week. So football's here. Might as well take advantage of it. If you go with their full pro plan, it's awesome. You get like insights. The Insights tab is awesome. EV Plus, like they've got so many different ways, arbitrage, like everything that you would want. It's kind of all of the apps in one, and Outlier does it clean. I love the user interface as well. So let's move on here. So we'll go to Travis Kelce next. All right. So I know this one's a little dicey, but I think that, gosh, why can't I think of his name? I still can't remember. It's so stupid. The wide receiver who's suspended for 6 games. It's just one of those things. I need Alpha Brand or something. But yeah, their main wide receiver, when he's out, they've still got Xavier Worthy. Obviously, Hollywood Brown is healthy now. But I think that this is going to, this could potentially be Travis Kelce's last year. Potentially, he's engaged now. I kind of saw that coming, like just at his age. What is he, like 36? I think he's looking to sort of start to, make a transition in his life, but I think he wants to go out with a bang. And in this particular situation, I know he had a slow start at the beginning of last year, but I think that they are going to feature a little bit more of the passing game. And it's going to drive me crazy. I know you guys have already probably put in the comments the wide receiver I'm thinking of. I think the more I try to remember it, the more it's just like my brain isn't going to let me. But if we look at the head-to-head here, both times that he matched up against the Chargers last year, he went for at least 5. So he had 7 in September earlier in the season. And then he, in early December, he went for 5. And that was on low scoring games, 17-19. Chiefs took that one, and 17-10. So I think if we do end up seeing a 47.5 point over under, and it's a 3-point game, what would that end up being? Like 47. I don't know. I would say, I don't know. You guys do the math. Maybe like 20-17, I guess would be close. But yeah, a little bit higher scoring on both sides is what Vegas is projecting. for this one. So I feel good about Kelce tonight. I just have a feeling that he's going to come out to a hotter start this year than he did last year. Let's take a look at the optimizer for this play. So yeah, there's the receptions. Not as juiced as the other two that we started with, but still, they like him over 5, 52.89% odds to hit the over minus 130. And you can see literally everyone else, except for this other platform, they've got the line at 4.5, and it's also a minus 209. But everyone else has it at 5.5, and they kind of have it at a 50-50 shot, so to speak, at 5.5. So I think that getting it at 5 flat, the nice thing is if he does just go for 5, then you end up getting the push, and it'll just downgrade your slip, So let's wrap it up with Noah Gray, the other tight end, who has really showed out against, in both of these head-to-heads in those same games that Kelce was active too. So we know that the tight ends are getting a little bit more love matching up against the Chargers. Let's take a look here. So their defense is solid. This is based off of last year, but 8th overall, and then against tight ends, 11th. So a little bit of a soft spot there against the tight end position. But yeah, Noah Gray, he went for 40 in the first game, 40 yards and 26 yards. Let's take a look and see. So they had 36 pass plays on average in those games, out of 58 plays and 65 plays. So 32 the first outing, and then 40 the second outing were the total pass plays. Let's see his receptions. So yeah, he was definitely targeted. So he went 4 for 4 in game 1, and then 4 of 5 in game 2. For a tight end, he does his yards per reception are not the highest. I know that tight ends don't necessarily always catch deep balls, but 8.3, not the craziest. So like if he does average the 8.3 again, then you got you'd need 3 receptions. But let's look at his longest reception. So in that first matchup, he did have a reception that was 29 yards. So that would clearly cash that 17.5 that we're taking. And then game 2, he had his longest was 8 yards. So more receptions, and his longest reception was 8 yards. And what did we say? Let's go back to the yards. And he still cleared that line at 26, even with his longest reception being 8 yards. So this is just a low line. Noah Gray's kind of sneaky, especially earlier in the season. Last year, we cashed on his demons quite a bit before the odds makers caught up to how involved he actually was. So you don't have to take both of these, but I like Noah Gray at 17.5. Let's see if he's on here. So yeah, they've got his receiving yards favored to go over as well. 52.32% odds to hit the over, minus 127. And you can see a lot of these other platforms have it much higher. 18.5 on Pinnacle, FanDuel 20.5 on DraftKings, 19.5 on Caesars. So 17.5 is definitely a bargain. So yeah, that's gonna do it for these 4. Hopefully we get our sweep tonight. Still kind of just getting back into the swing of things, but I don't know about you guys. It felt really good to just have some football on last night, even though we did get that weather delay, and it kind of took the wind out of the sails of where that game was going. Also, you hate to see one of the best players of either team get ejected before the first snap. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, but I saw footage later on, like today on Instagram. I saw that Dak Prescott actually spit at him first, at Jalen Carter. And was really, that worked like a charm if you're trying to get their best defensive player out of the game. That's not cool, I'm more of a fan of the professionalism. You guys are getting paid a lot of money. Don't put your team at risk. Don't take the bait, stuff like that. But it's also, it's a pretty spicy rivalry there between the Cowboys and the Eagles. So the Eagles, I get it. They're kind of known for that kind of stuff. Their whole fan base is kind of wild, but yeah, let's go ahead and I'll show you guys some bonus plays before we get out of here. So obviously we love that Najee Harris. This is just going to be a boom or bust. This is going to be like he kills it. He kills this line, or we're like, dang, his eye really is. They're not using him much, but I think 5.5 is so low for Najee. And then the Patrick Mahomes, love that one. Omarion Hampton, longest reception. This one's looking pretty juicy, 8.5. He is good at catching the ball. This guy can do just about everything. And his percentages are off the charts on a lot of his athleticism and stuff. So it'll be cool to see how he looks tonight. But yeah, 8.5 longest reception. The optimizer loves that. 53.72% odds hit the over -138. Kareem Hunt, longest rush, 8.5. I'm a little, I don't know. The juice is there, 8.5. I mean, and if you're just looking at the odds makers, everyone's favoring it to go over. So that's something you could take. 53.22% odds hit the over -134. Patrick Mahomes, passing, rushing yards combo, 265.5. They like that to go over. A lot of overs for this game. Justin Herbert fantasy score at 16 looks good to me too. I almost put this in the slip. 52.97% odds to hit the over. And you can see all these other platforms have them at 17 or higher. Xavier Worthy, over 5, 52.9% odds to hit the over. As far as his receptions go, -129. There's those Kelsey receptions we're taking. Pass completions over 23.5 for Mahomes. They like that to go over. 52.84% odds to hit the over. They like him over 35 pass attempts as well. Hollywood Brown, 3.5 receptions. I thought about taking that. I think that looks good too. Just 4 receptions. God, it's going to drive me crazy. I'm not thinking of that dude's name. I know someone's going to tell me if I don't think of it before we get out of here. Let's see. Quentin Johnston, over 22.5 receiving yards. That is a really low line for someone who doesn't really do as much, short field work. Like he's more of a down the field type of big play, contested catch type of guy. So 22.5 could be one catch for him. You do have Keenan Allen back. We have Vlad McConkey, Conklin, and then they still have Disley. So there are a lot of other pass catchers, but it's not like Quentin Johnston is just some rookie coming in. He already knows the system. He kind of sparked at the end of last year. So 22.5 does seem pretty decent. And then they like Will Disley over 13.5 receiving yards. Me too. I'm just like, I don't know. Like they went and got Conklin, and Conklin is like, super athletic and stuff. But Will Disley's been in this system. So it looks like him and Conklin will both be getting work, but 13.5 is a really low line. And then Keenan Allen, they like him to go over his receiving yards, 37.5, 51.78% odds to hit the over. And then Patrick Mahomes rush attempts. This looks great too. 3.5. Man, if you don't want to take the longest rush, you could just take the 3.5, because I think he's going to rush the ball 4 times tonight. That's just my guess. We'll do one more and we'll get out of here. We'll do 2 more. Justin Herbert, pass completions over 21. They like that to go over. And then there's those there's that Amarian Hampton rush attempts I was talking about earlier, over 12. I like that to go over as well. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for tuning into the show. Good luck tonight. Let me know how you're doing did that game last night affect your fantasy football at all? It only affected one of my redraft leagues where I did have George Pickens, and he didn't do much. But other than that, most of my guys haven't played yet. So hopefully if your guys played last night, they're off to a hot start. But yeah, that's going to do it. Good luck tonight. I'll catch you in the next one.